Alright, so today's video is really an important one for me. I'm excited to bring this information to you guys because this is something that I'm pretty sure you've never heard before. This is new perceptions, new awareness to bring into your reality to help you connect more to your inner child, to help assist you on your path through your spiritual work, through healing your past trauma, and also to help strengthen your relationships. Most of what you're going to learn is just through this new awareness, but there are going to be some tools at the end of the video that I'm going to incorporate that will help you to implement this new sense, this new perception into your reality. So if you want to connect more with your inner child, if you want to create a safer space within yourself so you feel more confident in the world, and you want to find out more ways of how to love yourself, then keep listening to this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm Megan, the mother of tarot. I bring a lot of spiritual content and pick a card readings, and sometimes I just vlog about my life and what's going on with me and my healing journey. My content is hopefully to bring you motivation, inspiration, and clarity on your path. Alright, so let's get into this. We all know, well, most of us know, that our outer reality is a reflection of our inner reality. So what we see on the world, out in the world, is a mirror. Our relationships, our interactions, our perceptions, everything's so connected with how we're feeling inside. We know this, but we're taking it a step further. Okay, so think about all the people in your life, right? Think about all the interactions you've had the past few weeks, whether that's with family members, significant others, friendships, coworkers, you name it, and think of how these people treated you, okay, how they talked to you. Did they treat you with respect? Did they talk to you with compassion and love? I'm sure some of them did, but there's probably some people in your life that don't talk to you the way that you want to be talked to. This could be your significant other, this could be your sister, this could be your mother, this could be a client that you have. And if you can't think of anybody in your present reality, then you're really lucky. So take someone from the past, okay? But try to think of how they talked to you, okay? And how they made you feel. And I want you to pick somebody that didn't make you feel good, okay? I think it's awesome that you have people in your life that speak highly of you and speak to you with a lot of respect, but I want you to pick somebody that triggers you, because this is going to help make the point I'm trying to make a lot clearer and really help you. Okay, so that way that person treats you, the way that person talks to you, is the way that you talk to your body. I'm going to repeat myself. The way that the people around you, specifically the one person you have in mind, the way that person talks to you is the way you talk to your body. So, for example, if you have a boss, or you could say it's a partner, somebody that's really hard on you, that really makes you feel bad if you make a mistake, that expects perfectionism, that holds you to a very high standard, that talks down to you, then there is a possibility. Now, this is my theory, and this is something that's proved right again and again within myself, within my clients, within my friendships, and my relationship, that I see so clearly now. The way people treat you is the way that you treat yourself. So if you have a boss or someone in your life that talks down to you, you probably are really hard on yourself. You have probably talked down to yourself. You probably get really frustrated with yourself if you make a mistake. And you hold a high standard to yourself, whether that's through your work or your spiritual practice or your relationships. It could be all three. Because sometimes we ask, why are these people coming into my life? Like, why is this person, why did I go through this abusive relationship? Why do I have these coworkers that I want to strangle? Why do I have, this family member that just won't ever be easy on me? Or why do I have these friendships that, they're nice to me face to face, but then they talk about me behind my back, right? Our bodies are so self-healing. You guys, our bodies are amazing. They are. And, when we have a cut, right? We have a scrape, our body heals. If we break a bone, our body heals. If we have some trauma within us, if we have some sort of communication, like the way that we talk to our body, if we talk to our body in a negative way at all, if we're not giving ourselves the love and attention that we need, that our inner child needs, it's going to reflect that through our relationships. So it's going to reflect that on the outside world, and our outside world, our soul is attracting these relationships to amplify this energy, to bring it to our attention so that we will heal. Because in that discomfort comes that growth. In that discomfort is when we finally make changes to better ourselves. So these relationships that come into your life are these people that talk to you in a certain way. And this could even be on social media. Maybe somebody comments on your post, right? That type of energy could be how you're treating yourself. This has been such a powerful tool for me because I've realized it in so many aspects of different relationships that I've had that if I'm getting treated a certain way, and it's not to say that it's not that person's fault. I'm not saying that. Like, if somebody is treating you crappy and disrespectful, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be to blame at all. I'm not saying that. What they're doing is wrong. It's not cool. We know that, right? What I'm saying is to look at it from another perspective of, okay, if this person is treating me like this, am I doing this to myself? Am I being too hard on myself? Am I being disrespectful? Am I not spending enough time with myself, right? Sometimes in relationships, we want somebody to spend more time with us. So, okay, so I want you to take this person that you have in mind. Could be a couple people, but I want you to try to pick one person right now that doesn't treat you the way you want to be treated. Or maybe they treat you okay, but you know that they could treat you better, or you're craving more from the relationship. I want you to write down all the things that they do that you don't like, that bothers you. Okay? After you write down this list, this could be specific emotion. This could be emotions, but this could also be specific events. Whatever you feel called to, write it down. And then look at that list and see if you treat yourself like that in any way you treat yourself. Because, you guys, we have thousands of thoughts that go through our head every day. Thousands of thoughts, right? And these thoughts are how we communicate to ourselves. So we're in constant communication to ourselves, but a lot of the ways we communicate to ourselves are in our subconscious mind, which means we're not completely aware of it. We don't realize how we can be towards ourselves. So with this new awareness, what this can do is help us to be more aware of these subconscious thoughts, to bring them to the forefront of our mind, to bring in a new perception and new loving energy towards ourselves. Because a lot of people ask the question, how do I love myself? Because you see a lot of people in the spiritual community, they're like, love yourself, treat yourself, love yourself. And it's like, yeah, okay, I feel like I love myself, but how do I do it? How do I love myself? So after you've written down all of these traits of this person and how they treat you, see if you're doing that to yourself. And say, okay, maybe not all of them make sense, maybe a few things make sense. Like, okay, these 3 things, I could possibly be treating myself like that. Okay, next list, you're going to write down all the things you wish this person that you're thinking of would do for you to show that they care, to show that they support you and love you, or what you need to feel safer in this world. How could they help you? Write down all of those things. And you can apply this to like a relationship you used to be in if you want. Like if you had a bad relationship, you can use this. It can be very powerful for that. And write down all the things that you want them to do. And get as specific as you can, but also talk about the emotions you want them to express more. Okay, so for all of these things you wrote down that you want them to do, how can you do these things towards yourself? That's self-love. How can you implement these new things? Okay, so for instance, going back to the boss that's being hard on you, maybe you want more recognition for all the hard work you've done. You want more encouragement from your boss. You don't want to be watched like a hawk for every little mistake, right? All of these things that you can write down that you want your boss. You want them to create a safer space for you in the office or wherever you work. If you work from home, because I know a lot of people are working from home right now. And it's like, okay, take all those things and start to implement them to yourself. So how can you give yourself words of encouragement? You talk to yourself. And you guys, when you do this, you can do it in your head through your thoughts, but if you speak it out loud, it's going to be more powerful. Because when you're in a state of trying to release some sadness or aggression or frustration or depression, anxiety, whatever it is, you're trying to reprogram your subconscious mind. We're trying to rewrite the neural pathways, right? And when we speak out our intentions out loud, we speak to ourselves out loud, it makes it more powerful, it makes it more known, and it really dramatically changes the energy around us. So, if you can speak it out loud, do it. Or if you can write it. If you're a writer, write it. If you can write and speak it out loud, that'll amplify the energy even more. So you write down, I'm really proud of you. This is what I'm proud of you for, Megan. A, B, C, D. I did this the other night, okay? I've been doing this therapy a lot with myself. It's completely changed the relationship with myself. It's brought in so much new courage, healthy relationships, success in my work. I can't even, so many things. So once you start to realize a lot of these things you might want in your life might be communication-based. Some of them might be like, spend more time with me. Like if you're in a relationship and you want the person to listen to you more and spend more time with you, then you go in within meditation, right? So I want to go through a meditation that I went through the other night that helped me connect with myself, okay? Because it's kind of hard to rebuild a relationship within ourselves when we're just one person. You know, if it's two people, you can say like, oh, okay, this person needs to work on that, and you guys need to talk to each other in a more civil way, and you can use communication like this. But when you're talking to yourself, it feels weird, and it just doesn't really completely make sense. So while you're doing this kind of therapy, I want you to think of yourself as two different people. I know it sounds a little weird, but bear with me. I promise this works. I want you to think of yourself. The one side of you, okay, is your conscious self, who you are right now. Okay, so me, Megan, that's person A. Person B is our inner child. So I like to think of myself as like a 5-year-old child. You can pick what age you like. Maybe pick the age that you've dealt with the most trauma in your life, but 5 for me just resonates. And I know we form most of our perceptions and most of our habits and our trauma from when we're born till about 7, because that really sets us up for the rest of our life. So I pick 5-year-old Megan, and that's who I talk to, because we have to talk to ourselves with a lot of nurturing care. And if we're talking to ourselves like we've been normally talking to ourselves, we're going to be too hard on ourselves. But if you talk to a little child, you use different communication. So it's almost as though, imagine you go back in time and you meet your 5-year-old self, and your 5-year-old self is dealing with the exact emotions that you're dealing with now, okay? Whatever emotions you're dealing with, if it's fear, anger, aggression, sadness, maybe you have physical health ailments, whatever things that you're not happy with in your life right now, imagine your 5-year-old self is dealing with the exact same pressure. And you have to go back in time and talk to them. What would you say to them, right? How would you treat them? How can you take what's on your list and show it to them? So I was in my bath. I like to meditate in my bath. I like my Epsom salts, my lavender oils. That's how I do my thing. Or I do it in my bed sometimes. And whenever I decide to do this, I decide to do it for 5 minutes. Sometimes it goes longer, sometimes it doesn't. I think setting the standard for at least 5 minutes, I think most people can work that into their day-to-day schedule. So I say, okay, body, I love you. I want to listen to you. I want to be there for you. You know, maybe somebody in your life isn't giving you a lot of time and they're not listening to you. That's because you're not listening to your inner child. You're not listening to your subconscious. You're not listening to your soul, right? So you say, okay, I'm sorry I haven't listened to you. I'm going to create a safe space for you to bring up anything you'd like to talk about, anything that's bothering you or anything like that. And I usually ask for a certain emotion. Like, what's this emotion? Because sometimes I get a lot of pressure in my chest and it's like anxiety or depression that'll come through in phases. So I like to focus on my heart space. You can focus on any area of your body. I wouldn't suggest focusing on the head because that's where we hold all of our thoughts, and I think that it can kind of interfere because you want to get away from your logical mind during this process. You don't want to overthink things because when these emotions come up, you want to give them a full validation, right? So it's just like if a little kid came up to you and they were like, oh, I'm really sad about something. You'd be like, oh, why are you sad? And the little kid would tell you, oh, because, you know, Tommy took my toy. And you wouldn't be like, oh, that's not real problem. Like, grow up, you know, move on. Like, there's nothing to complain about here. You wouldn't say that to a 5-year-old, but you'd say that to yourself, right? But we all have this inner child that needs some love and attention and care. So what you're going to do is anything that comes up, usually an emotion will come up. Like the other day, it was, oh, yeah, so, sorry, I lost my train of thought. When I was in the bathtub, the emotion that came up was disappointment. I felt disappointment. And so I talked to my body. I said, okay, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to sit 5 minutes in silence, and I'm setting the intention to just let anything come up that needs to come up. And I'm here to create a safe space for you. And sometimes I have to encourage my body to open up because sometimes our bodies are so used to being shut down and us being like, oh, stop being frustrated. That's stupid. Don't worry about it. Like, we can be so aggressive and so real and so rude to ourselves. And a lot of this, again, is subconscious, but we can do that so often that when we finally create a safe space, our bodies will be like, no, I've done this before. I'm not saying a thing. Like, I'm just going to be uncomfortable. And it's kind of like if you're dealing with a child. If you haven't built that safe relationship with that child to open up to you, they're not just going to all of a sudden open up to you like, oh, this is what's going on and this is why I feel disappointed if you've been shaming them for years. Like we shame our bodies. So you have to say, I know I haven't treated you the best. I haven't spent as much time with you. I haven't been able to communicate with you. And I'm going to change that. And I promise that whatever comes up, if it's a memory from the past, if it's a frustration about the future or where I'm at right now in my life, I promise you I will not judge you. I will meet you with open arms, and I will fully accept and validate whatever you're experiencing. Like, this is self-therapy. This is reflection therapy, right? And you'll be surprised at what comes up. You might have to do it a few times before some things come up for you and you're able to process it and let it go. But I tell you what, every time I do this, you guys, now I've formed a better relationship with my body, so I can connect with it pretty quickly now in this way. Things will come up, I validate them, a new perception comes up, more clarity in my life, the direction I need to go, and where I'm at and why I'm feeling certain things, and then I feel like a weight's been lifted off. It's just like, whoa, I can breathe, and I feel light, and I feel happy, and it's just insane. So, and you can do this, you can write down like relationships you've had throughout your life. I remember when I was nannying this kid over this past summer, he was getting really annoyed with me with certain things, like really annoyed with school. He was annoyed that he had to go. He didn't see the point. He was annoyed with things that, not really annoyed with me, I guess, because, a little bit annoyed with me because I was making him go to school because he was homeschooling at the time. But he was annoyed that he had to do all this work, and he felt like he didn't have enough time, he didn't have enough energy. And this is when I started to realize that about this reflection therapy, because I was like, okay, is how he's treating me how I'm treating my body. And I realized that I indeed was getting very frustrated with my body at the time. I didn't think what I was doing made sense. I was super frustrated. I was questioning a lot in my life, and there was a lot of frustration within me. So this boy that I was sitting for, he was 11, he was amplifying that energy and bringing that to my awareness so I could heal, so that my energy would be amplified and that I could heal that aspect of my life. And I did. I started to work on that. I started to find more peace within me. I started to communicate with my body. I started to send love to my body and started to practice more patience, which is, it's hard. Patience, right? Surrender and trust. Those are like the hardest things I think to do in life sometimes, especially in your spiritual growth. But you can do this with how your parents treat you. Maybe they treat you great. Maybe you have great parents, but maybe they didn't give you the love in the type of ways, or maybe they still don't give you the kind of love and support that you need. Maybe it's through their words. Maybe you wish your dad would say this about you, or that he's proud of you. Maybe you wish your mom would listen to you more. These things are what you need to do for your body, right? Communication, bringing in mantras, doing mirror work, looking in the mirror and saying that you love yourself. When I started doing this, I felt like it was so weird, and I'm like, this isn't going to work. I didn't feel like I loved myself. I felt like I was lying to myself, but I made the effort. And that's what love is, right? When we're in a relationship or a friendship, the best way to show love is through action. Is through words, but also acts of kindness, right? That's what we need to do for ourselves. That's self-love. Self-love is a lot of different things, but it's showing ourselves love how we want to be shown love from other people. And you can also do this kind of therapy. I know I said focus on your heart space, but maybe you hold a lot of tension in your stomach, or maybe you have a lot of back pain, or, there's a certain area, maybe it's your knees, like whatever area you have pain with, you can focus on that area too and say, okay, why is my back hurting? Or what, when you're talking to your body, ask, what is the emotion tied to this pain? What is the emotion tied to this pain? Because pain can be caused by injury, pain can be caused by disease, pain can be caused by a lot of things, but usually if our bodies haven't healed and it's chronic, then there is going to be some sort of emotion tied to that pain, and that's why that pain can't heal. Because our bodies are self-healing, but we can't heal when we have all this stress in our life. So as soon as ask your body, what is the emotion? Maybe fear will come up, maybe guilt, maybe disappointment, maybe shame. And then when that energy comes up, and a word, like the first word that pops in your mind, say, okay, I'm sorry you feel shameful. I'm sorry I brought up shame onto you. Is there something that I've done or something that I could do to help? Or take me back to where this shame started. Because sometimes if we can find the root cause, and then maybe your father comes in and you're like, oh, my father brought a lot of shame on me. And now I'm doing this to myself. I'm putting the shame on myself that my father put on me. And now I'm attracting relationships with men that make me feel shameful. And you're in this cycle and your body wants to break free from it. But the only way to do that is to connect with yourself, to build this inner strength, and to create a safe space within your own reality. I work with a lot of clients that want to attract love and attract this amazing partner. And I tell people that they should have a long list of things that they want in their person, I think that I don't think anybody should settle, and I think you should find the love of your life and be really happy. But when I see people that I work with that want to attract this amazing person, but they don't contribute those energies that they want in a person towards themselves, then they're not going to attract it. So if you want somebody, you want to attract a man or a woman into your life, or maybe friendships, right? That are really caring, that really listen to you, that are really, support you on your spiritual path, that do fun things with you, that, make a list of all those things and then start doing those things towards yourself. Once you start to give yourself that attention and that love, you will attract people that do the same thing. But we can only attract the energy that we emit. I'll give you guys another example of my experience. I had someone comment on one of my videos a little while ago, and the comment wasn't necessarily mean, but it made me feel really belittled. It made me feel like they were being nice but talking down to me. And I know that's one of my biggest triggers, because I think when people do that, it just makes you feel really stupid. Like they're trying to be nice, but it just feels manipulative to me. And I realized within myself that sometimes I was doing that to myself. Like if I had made a mistake, I was almost like, "Aw, Megan, like, you don't know better. It's okay." Like I was almost kind of being, I don't know, kind of belittling myself a little bit. I was trying to do the therapy, but I was being kind of a smart aleck, and I realized why that triggered me. It's because I was kind of doing that to myself. I was talking down to myself, and I was kind of babying myself too much. Because I think when we start to talk to ourselves and our inner child, when we're talking to a 5-year-old, you can like kind of baby it down. And I realized while that was necessary for a certain amount of time, I kind of needed to start talking to myself with more compassion and just more acceptance. And that's why that person had come into my life to show me, because the people that trigger us, they're our greatest teachers, and they actually come in to heal us. And it's weird to think, right? All of our abusive relationships or the terrible people that we've encountered in our life were there for a purpose. It's just another way of looking at the world. And utilizing that energy, utilizing the energy that people I think I keep saying energy people emit to us as a tool, and not being hard on ourselves in the process. Because when we have these new awarenesses of like, oh, this person's treating me like this, oh my gosh, I'm doing this to myself, we can start to beat ourselves up, especially if we have someone in our life that is really mean or really degrading or really abusive. We can start to get hard on ourselves, but that's what you really don't want to do, right? You have to just be patient with yourself and give yourself love and apologize to yourself. Be like, I love you. Like I say that to myself. I'm like, I love you, Megan. You're doing amazing. We're going to get through this. I'm going to create a safe space for you. And I set these intentions out loud, you guys. I hold myself accountable, but I also give myself a lot of patience and a lot of compassion. The point of this therapy is to send as much compassion as you can to yourself. All the compassion you crave from the world, you start sending it to yourself. And I'm not saying you need to like do it in 10 ways every day. Find one thing you can do every day to show yourself love. Whether that's through prayer, through talking to yourself, through just listening in the silence, through writing down all of your acknowledgments in life and giving yourself some credit, through getting in your creative energy, through dancing, through singing, through connecting with somebody online, through changing the way you communicate to yourself, and setting the intention every morning that this awareness of how you talk to yourself will be more prevalent, that you'll see it more, that you'll hear it when it comes. And when it comes, when you're talking to yourself, it usually comes in an emotion, right? So sometimes we'll start to feel frustrated by something that we did. And maybe we're not saying, oh, Megan, like, shame on you. But right, in our subconscious mind, that's what we're saying, because we're feeling frustrated because we shouldn't have done what we did, we shouldn't have said what we said, or I could have explained myself better, or that client, I could have done better with that client. That's shaming ourselves. And when we shame ourselves, when we make ourselves feel bad for little mistakes, and we're supposed to make mistakes, we're human, that's when we bring in other people that are going to shame us. Or say you have like a really jealous boyfriend or girlfriend, right? Somebody's really jealous, and they get jealous if anyone talks to you. Well, jealousy is another word for not trusting, right? Because if somebody's jealous of who you're talking to or who you're spending time with, then they don't trust you. They could say they don't trust the person, but there's just a lack of trust, right, going on. So then there's a lack of trust within yourself. There's a lack of trusting your inner intelligence, trusting your ability to live the life that you want to live? I mean, it could be a lot of different ways, but there's a lack of trust within yourself. So how do you build that trust? You spend time with yourself, you talk to yourself, you listen to yourself, and you send love in all of these ways that you can. So this type of reflection therapy is going to help you work through your triggers, which is going to help you work through your fears, which is going to build up your self-confidence, build your self-love, help create a safe space for yourself where you feel protected. Because since I've been doing this, I feel so safe, you guys. Like, I feel safe. I don't worry about stuff nearly as much, and I just feel so protected, but by myself. Like, I feel protected within myself, not because I have all these guides and, angels working around me. It's because I have created this space within myself, and I feel powerful within it. And it's given me the opportunity to enjoy my life more, to have more confidence, to have stronger relationships. I'm in the best relationship of my life. I have really strong friendships, and things just keep improving on all levels of my life. So please comment down below if this resonated for you guys, and I encourage you to try it for the next week. Try to do one thing a day that can help you. Try to make these lists that I talked about. If you need to listen to this video again, listen to it again. And then comment down below if this resonated. Comment down below also if you've heard other people talk about this, because there's one book that I want to talk about that kind of mentions this therapy, but it's more specifically with romantic relationships, and that's imago therapy, which I will attach on one of these sides, the name of that book. And basically, Harville Hendrix, he's a great author. I love this book. He talks about why we attract certain partners into our life, why we attract partners that can be like our parents in some ways and hold the negative traits that our parents held. Because when we attract these partners that have these negative traits or these things that trigger us or make us upset, it's to amplify that trigger or that energy within us so that we can heal it. Our body seeks out partners with these negative traits, right? With the good traits too, obviously, but with the negative traits so our body can heal, so it can bring this awareness to us. And that's part of what inspired this type of therapy that I'm talking about. It's similar, but it's a little bit different, because this therapy that I'm bringing forth is talking about all your relationships, and it's talking about how to connect that through your meditation and through your mantras and using your own energy to create this safe space, to create healing. And also, you guys, if you want to try it for a week and then come back to this video and comment or shoot me an email, let me know how it worked for you, if it made sense, even if it didn't make sense, or if something I said, you thought of another idea that expanded upon it, like something like, oh yeah, this and that and this, like, share it with me. I like talking to you guys, I like connecting with you guys, and I would love to hear it. So with that, I'm going to leave it at that. If something didn't make sense, also comment down below a question. I'm pretty good at responding, and I want to share this. So if you guys feel called to share this with people you know, people in the spiritual community that you think this could help, then please do. And yeah, I'm excited, and I will see you guys next time.